Hello, Luke and Charmaine Leisure from Stronghold MMA and Stronghold Podcast here. I'm going to break down now the Uriah Hall, Chris Weidman finish, where unfortunately Chris Weidman broke his leg on Uriah Hall's knee while he was trying to throw a leg kick. I'm going to go over some of the details about why his leg broke. I'll go over the details about how you and your sparring can both make sure that your partner can't check your kick so easily, and proper foot positioning to throw your leg kick, so that way it's more difficult for your partner to check it. Okay, so we have two orthodox fighters. We're both in a closed stance. Both of us have left leg forward. Okay, first thing I'll talk about is the foot positioning. Now you can see right now, Charmaine and I, both of our feet are lined up. My lead foot is lined up with her rear foot. My rear foot is lined up with her lead foot. We are completely square. If I try to throw a kick from here, especially a thigh kick, there's just, the angle is such that my shin is going to hit the front part of her knee or her ankle every time. But even if you don't check, you push your weight into the leg. Because of the angle of our feet, when I throw that kick, my shin and my ankle is coming to hit the front part of the leg. So this is one feet configuration. The next one is if I take a half step to my right, so my lead leg will split her legs, right? So I step here and I step here. Now her lead leg is split my 2 feet. My lead leg has split her 2 feet. This is a much better angle to throw the kick at. Now you can see that as I start to throw this kick, I'm hitting more along the side of the leg rather than the front of the leg. So as she pushes forward to put weight on her knee, which is what Uriah Hall did to block the kick, he didn't lift it up to check. He just shifted his weight forward and turned his knee out slightly. You can see that right now, if I try to throw that, I got a much better angle on that low kick. Okay? Now the most favorable angle, and this is where I always tell my students to attack the calf, is if I can get my lead foot lined up with her lead foot. You can already see that the angle of my hips and the angle of her hips give me the total side of the leg. This is very, very safe. It's safer. Even if she turns out, she's got to turn out her knee so much that it points her body into an awkward state, right? So she's also lined up with me in a similar sense. So we got to kind of be careful here. But if, turn your foot forward now. But if I see this, even if it's for a second, I'm going to kick that calf, or I'm going to kick the outside of the leg. Because in order to block it, she has to turn out so much that it's unnatural. Okay, so the foot positioning is very important, and I'll come back to that once we do the Rose Namajunas and Zhang Wei Li breakdown. So, finally, come this way a little bit. So, finally, the most important thing is I want to talk about the difference between kicking the calf, the low calf, and kicking the thigh. The old school method for low kicks is the Thai style way. You just kick the thigh. Kick the thigh. The problem with kicking the thigh is that the counter is to lift up the knee and to check it, or to push your weight forward to make your leg heavy and to block it. And you see, I'm kicking the small part of my bone just above my ankle with the largest part of her knee. Okay? Most of the leg breaks that you see, you watch Anderson Silva, you watch Tyrone Spong, you watch Corey Hill, you watch Chris Weidman today, all of the breaks happen from right there, okay? And they almost always happen from kicking right here, from the knee to the upper shin. That's the smallest part of the shin, kicking the largest part of the knee and the calf, okay? So, when you kick the leg, why the low calf kick is becoming so popular is that if I kick the lower part of her leg, there's no way she can block it with the knee. If she lifts her knee up, I'm gonna kick her ankle or kick her foot, which is still gonna hurt her a lot, because my heavy part of my bone is kicking the even smaller part of her bone. So even if she lifts up the knee, it's not gonna break my leg. If I kick above the knee when she lifts, now the smallest part of my shin is kicking the largest part of her knee. So that's, I think, why the low calf kick is becoming so popular. If she pushes the weight forward, or if she lifts, it's just very difficult to break the leg, or it's very difficult for her to block it because I'm kicking the lower part of the leg. And then the last thing was, Chris Weidman did not set this low kick up. They circled, and then he just threw it very, very hard without doing anything to set it up, okay? There's a lot of things that you can do to set it up. You could twist the hips. That will draw out a reaction oftentimes. to push the knee forward or to lift, so you can see if your partner's thinking about it. Another thing that you can do is just throw the punch, right? You throw the punch, then you can step in. My favorite way is to take a step back. If I step back, she's gonna step forward. When she steps forward, the weight is on the front leg. If the weight is on the front leg, then you cannot block it because all your weight is centered there. So then you throw the kick. So for those of you who want to practice this in sparring, we're just going to take a step back and throw that kick. Okay, again, take a step back, throw that kick. Or, one more time, if you can time your partner's jab. If she jabs, give me a jab, her weight is on the front leg because she had to step into punching range. So, I get used to timing my partner's jab, boom, there's your low kick. Again, boom, there's your low kick. So, this has been our breakdown of Chris Weidman's unfortunate injury. Make sure that you don't throw naked low kicks. You gotta set your kicks up. You gotta make sure that the weight's on the front leg or that you're moving backward to avoid those rough kicks, and make sure also that you have good feet positioning so that way you're hitting the outside of the leg rather than the front. So thank you all for watching. This is the Stronghold Podcast and Stronghold MMA. Thank you.